Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms, firearms policy, politics, culture, movies, you name it, everything Second Amendment related right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment to like and share this program so that your friends can join in the conversation. Also, we'd like to encourage you to please go to fpcgear.com. That's fpcgear.com. If you go there, you're going to find all sorts of cool t-shirts, coffee mugs, hoodies, tons of different ways to express your support for the Second Amendment. And guess what? You can look good doing it, because knowing every single dollar that you put in goes right back into the fight for our right to keep and bear arms. That's fpcgear.com. All right, talking about the right to keep and bear arms, we all know, and we talked to you guys about this effort to build a West Coast wall of gun control. Throughout the West Coast, California, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, anti-gunners are going out of their way to try and make sure that that there is no Second Amendment for those of us who live on the left coast. Now, part of that effort is actually being done in the state of Washington, and there's a new initiative that was actually just that qualified, that's going to be on the ballot this fall. Now, there are some dirty tricks that were played when it came to this initiative, in terms of how it got on the ballot, and with that, I wanted to invite a good friend of ours, a good friend of the program, of FPC, to come on and talk a little bit about the initiative, how it got on the ballot, and what's going on with it right now. So with that, I want to welcome Mr. Phil Watson to the program. Phil, welcome back.
It's great to be here again with you, Greg. Or Craig, excuse me.
That's all right, sir. That's all right. So, all right. So we're talking I-1639. Now, people in Washington probably know how underhanded this thing was in terms of how it got on the ballot. In fact, we actually did a coffee on it where we talked about it. But do me a favor, for those who didn't get a chance to watch that, tell our viewers about how this initiative got on the ballot.
Well, first of all, there were several lawsuits during the run-up and after it was initially the 1639 was initially filed. So. Number one, the first lawsuit was on the ballot title, and the Attorney General writes the ballot title here in Washington State that supposedly is the summary of the initiative for the voters. And obviously he endorsed the initiative, which is previously unheard of here in this state, and wrote a very deceptive ballot title. So there was a lawsuit about that. And even though it went to the most liberal, left-leaning sort of judge on the court in Thurston County, which is where all ballot title challenges go here in the state, she even found that the ballot title was deceptive and changed some of it. So that was the first lawsuit. Then there was a second and third lawsuit. Both went to the state Supreme Court, and both state Supreme Court decisions decided that they were going to put it on the ballot and let it stand. And those lawsuits were about the specifics of the actual signature gathering and the corners that were cut there, and the deceptive nature of the printing of the actual petitions that people were signing out in public.
Right. Now, I wanted folks to understand, literally what they did was they're required in the state of Washington, whatever's in the initiative, the ballot language is supposed to be what is on the paper that you sign. But they didn't do that, did they?
Right. The ballot language was not the exact same, or it was not readable either. So it wasn't the same as the copy that is supposed to be filed with the Secretary of State that is public, that anybody can read if they want to search it or don't know what it is. But according to state law, that's supposed to be printed readably by the way, on the back of the petition.
And it was like a 5-point font.
Right.
5-point font. Now, people, I wear glasses, and I have a hard time seeing anything below anything below 10-point font is hard for me to see without holding it up to my eyes like this. Imagine how many pages was that initiative? Like
30.
30 pages on the back of one legal size piece of paper.
Yeah.
30 pages. They got it all on there, and they didn't even include everything.
Yeah, and so these people went out and they're paid to do this, and of course, the more signatures they get, the more they get paid, and so they have an incentive to deceive people out there, and the campaign itself deceived people when they printed these initiatives and did not have the language the way it was supposed to be on there. Unfortunately, we have a state Supreme Court that thinks they're allowed to legislate and can interpret the law the way however they want, really, unfortunately. And so they just said, you know what, we don't care, put it on the ballot. And
right. What they said was, well, the only thing that the judge could deal with was with the signatures, not with the actual petition itself. I don't understand. That made absolutely no sense to me. I mean, I get why the Secretary of State felt like they had to, because that was the Secretary of State's job. All they could do was verify that there were enough signatures or not whether or not the actual language was correct. Now, if the person had been doing his job, the Attorney General probably should have been the one to say, yeah, no, the way in which they did this wasn't right. But clearly we know that he didn't do his job in the title and summary. Why would he do his job in this particular case?
Yeah, exactly. So they, in a way, the AG and the state courts basically got to trick the voters twice, unfortunately. So now we've got to try to fight that on the ballot. And if there's any fallout from that, if it passes, we're going to have to deal with that in the courts. So this is 3 or 4 stages, if you will. And it could also end up in Olympia as well, being amended, like 594 was, unanimously, by the way.
So tell me about how the campaign is going right now.
The campaign right now is, of course, the main thing going on right now is we're underfunded, and unfortunately, that's the way modern campaigns work. Is it's mostly a battle of funding that you can get out there and get your message out and get your persuasive facts out there for people, so they can decide whether or not they want to vote for or against an issue on the ballot or for or against a candidate. And right now, the other side has several billionaires funding their campaign. So, we're just outfunded, and we have to get our message out effectively, and we have to use whatever money we have to do that. So, right now, I was actually on the phone today with some TV networks and TV stations buying ads. We have a really great ad with a local lady who was a victim of a home invasion that this initiative would affect. So we want to talk about stories like that and have people with stories like that communicate with their fellow citizens and fellow voters, and tell them that this is a bad initiative and it's bad for our rights. And there's definitely parts of it that I think we should definitely debate, but there are several parts of this initiative that are just nothing more than an attack on individual rights. So we're focusing on that, and we're trying to take that to as many people as we possibly can.
All right, if folks want to support the campaign, if they want to find out more, because as we all know, like you said, they're funded by multi-billionaires, which is not a new thing. And we've always been, you know, our cause has always been one that's been fought in the trenches, in the grassroots, one person at a time, $50 at a time, $10 at a time. That's always been how we've done this. So if people want to join the grassroots fight in order to help there in the state of Washington, to help protect the Second Amendment there in Washington, how do they get involved?
Yeah, they can come online to saveoursecurity.net, and we've got the video posted there. And that's what we're going to be putting on ads. It's already on the internet. People can check it out. But we'd like to be able to make a lot more videos like that with more people and put them out. Unfortunately, we just don't have the money right now to tell that story and put it out to a mass audience. But if people want to find out more about 1639, do some research, or see the ads that we have, they're more than welcome to go on saveoursecurity.net. And this isn't just about firearms specifically. There's a lot of other things in 1639 that have the potential to affect other rights as well. The right to privacy. There's some medical privacy issues involved in 1639. There are also some taxation issues involved in 1639 because it's going to be a tax on your right to partake in a constitutional right. So this could possibly have a big effect on other personal rights issues, well beyond Second Amendment stuff. So even if you're not a Second Amendment supporter, you should really be paying attention to 1639 and the impact that it has in the state of Washington and beyond if the courts rule one way or the other.
Right, folks, it's important to understand, even if you're not in the state of Washington, and you know, you guys who watch this regularly know I'm in the state of California. We've been telling you that California-style gun control is spreading out of California throughout the West as they build their West Coast wall. The Californication of Washington's gun laws have begun. The same exact thing is happening in Oregon. The same exact thing is happening in Nevada, and even Arizona is starting to see introductions of legislation that is moving towards anti-gun. It's important that you fight on the front lines, and right now, this election, one of those major front lines is the state of Washington. It is I-1639, and it's important that you guys support the efforts to kill this particular measure. So, Phil, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for fighting with us there in the state of Washington, as well as fighting in the state of Oregon. We appreciate all that you do, and good luck to you.
All right, thank you, Craig, and stay in touch. And thanks for doing everything that you guys do with FPC. Love it.
Most definitely will. Most definitely will. All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. We very much appreciate you guys tuning in. Please take a moment to like and share this video. Please share it with your friends. Let them know about the fight that's taking place in the state of Washington. Let them know that even if they don't live in Washington, they need to be engaged in the front lines in the fight for our civil rights. Because as we all know, we got to use them or we're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.